Hello everyone, and welcome to my BTG official channel. Bill stood trembling, his back against the cold brick wall of the old warehouse, his heart pounding so violently it felt as if it might burst through his chest. His breath came in shallow gasps, each one visible in the misty air. Across from him stood Randy, his oldest friend, his confidant, the man who had shared countless memories with him. But tonight, Randy was no friend. His face was emotionless, his hand steady, the gun gleaming in the pale light as he took aim. "Randy, please, don't kill me," Bill's voice broke, raw with disbelief and fear. It was as if time itself had stopped, leaving only the sound of the rain and the ticking of the gun's hammer. How had it come to this? Bill's mind reeled back through the tangled mess of betrayal and deceit that had led him here. Just a week ago, everything had seemed normal, or at least as normal as life could be after his breakup with Hayley. She was beautiful, intelligent, but dangerously manipulative. Their relationship had been a storm, passionate, unpredictable, and destructive. When Bill finally walked away, he thought he was free. But Hayley wasn't the kind of woman who let go easily. What Bill didn't know was that his departure had awakened a darkness inside her, one that sought revenge at any cost. Randy had been a loyal friend for years, a man Bill trusted like a brother. They had grown up together, shared secrets, dreams, and hardships. Bill had even helped Randy out of trouble more times than he could count, bailing him out of debt, defending him when others turned their backs. But desperation changes a man. Randy had been drowning financially, his business collapsing, his life spiraling out of control. That's when Hayley saw her opportunity. She approached him with an offer, one that promised to erase all his debts and secure his future. All he had to do was kill Bill. At first, Randy refused. The thought alone made him sick. But Hayley knew exactly how to manipulate him, using sympathy, guilt, and temptation like weapons. She spun lies about Bill, claiming he had destroyed her life, that he had stolen money from her, ruined her reputation, and left her broken. She cried in front of Randy, convincing him that this wasn't murder, it was justice. When she placed a stack of cash on the table, promising more once the job was done, Randy's resistance began to crumble. The weight of his unpaid debts, his fear of losing everything, and Hayley's persuasive voice became too much to bear. Now, here they were, two men whose bond had been built over years, shattered in a single moment. Bill's mind struggled to process the reality unfolding before him. "You don't have to do this, Randy," he pleaded, his voice shaking. "You're my friend. We've been through everything together. Don't let her turn you into a murderer." Randy's jaw tightened, but his eyes betrayed a flicker of hesitation. For a second, the old Randy, the one Bill knew, seemed to resurface. "I wish you hadn't made this so hard," Randy said quietly, his voice thick with emotion. "You don't understand, Bill. It's not just about her. I owe people. Dangerous people. If I don't do this, they'll kill me." Bill took a cautious step forward, his palms open, his voice steady despite the terror in his eyes. "Then let me help you. We'll find a way out of this together. Just like we always have." But the gun didn't lower. Randy's finger trembled on the trigger. He wanted to believe Bill, God, he wanted to, but Hayley's words echoed in his mind, "He'll betray you first, Randy. Do it before he does." The seed of doubt she had planted had taken root, poisoning his thoughts until he could no longer distinguish truth from lies. Meanwhile, somewhere in the shadows, Hayley watched through the cracked doorway of her car, her eyes cold and calculating. She had orchestrated everything perfectly, ensuring that there would be no witnesses, no evidence pointing back to her. She imagined Bill lying lifeless on the ground, and a smile crept across her face. For her, this wasn't just revenge, it was closure. She had convinced herself that Bill had ruined her life, and now she wanted him to feel the same pain, the same helplessness she once felt. Inside the warehouse, Bill's voice trembled as he spoke again. "Randy, listen to me. Hayley is lying to you. She's using you. Don't you see? She never cared about either of us, she just wants to destroy me." Randy's expression flickered once more, torn between loyalty and fear. The rain intensified, pounding against the metal roof like the drumbeat of fate. Bill could see the conflict in Randy's eyes, the war raging inside him. "If you do this," Bill whispered, "you'll never forgive yourself. And she'll throw you away the moment you're no longer useful to her." For a long moment, neither man moved. The tension in the air was suffocating. Then, suddenly, the warehouse door creaked open behind them. "Drop the gun, Randy," a voice shouted. It was Jacob, Bill's brother, who had been secretly investigating Hayley's strange behavior for weeks. He had followed her that night, suspecting she was up to something sinister. Now, standing in the doorway with his phone recording everything, he took a step forward. "It's over, Hayley. I've got everything I need to prove you hired him." Hayley's face turned pale as she realized her plan was falling apart. She tried to start the car, but the engine sputtered and died. Panic flashed in her eyes. Inside, Randy's resolve shattered. His hand shook violently as tears welled up in his eyes. "I can't do this," he whispered, lowering the gun. But before he could drop it completely, Hayley's shrill voice echoed through the warehouse. "You idiot. Do it now, or we're both finished." That was the breaking point. Randy turned toward the door, fury blazing in his eyes. "You used me," he shouted at Hayley. "You made me believe he deserved this." Hayley tried to flee, but Jacob was faster. Within minutes, police sirens filled the distance. Jacob had already called them. Hayley's screams echoed as she was dragged away in handcuffs, her perfect plan collapsing around her. Bill collapsed to his knees, his body shaking as adrenaline and relief washed over him. Randy stood motionless, the gun still in his hand, his face pale with guilt. "I was really going to do it," he muttered, his voice breaking. "I was going to kill you, Bill, my own brother in everything but blood." Bill looked up, eyes filled with sadness rather than anger. "But you didn't. You stopped. That's what matters." As the officers took Hayley away, the truth began to unfold. Evidence found on her phone and computer confirmed that she had planned Bill's murder, manipulated Randy with false claims, and even promised him payment from a stolen account. It was a web of deceit that stretched far beyond what anyone had imagined. In the days that followed, Bill struggled to process everything that had happened. He replayed that night over and over in his mind, the fear, the betrayal, the moment he almost lost his life. Randy was charged but given leniency for cooperating with authorities. He spent his days in quiet remorse, haunted by what he'd nearly done. Bill visited him once before leaving town, wanting closure. They sat across from each other in silence for a long time before Bill finally spoke. "I forgave you the moment you lowered that gun," he said softly. Randy looked